Or they try to.
Good price.
All right, we're back with Ted Ford, CEO of Knepper Press, and we're going to jump into how you go about marketing.
All right. Ted, so you had mentioned as a CEO you wear many hats, and marketing, the marketing hat being a very important one. Now, outside of the 20 guys you have out selling Knepper Press, what are some other things that the company's doing to promote their business?
Good question. We do a lot of different things. Right now, we have a cross-media marketing campaign going on every month. And what we'll do is we will send out a postcard to our entire mailing list. And it has a landing page that if the customer sees it, goes back and responds, they have a chance to win an iPad. So they go and answer a very small number of questions, 5, 6 questions. We can get that data on them, get them in a chance to win the iPad. It gets them engaged, and it gets them educated about some new thing we're offering, whether it be digital printing, the cross media, the ability to bring data back to them on how their direct mail campaign is working. So we'll mail out to the mailing. A week later, we follow up that same exact mailing, the same artwork, hits them as an email blast. Okay, so then they get an email from Knepper Press, same kind of message. They're talking about the digital printing at Knepper Press. They're talking about soft proofing, remote proofing, that you can proof it anywhere in the world 24/7 instead of waiting for a hard proof to come to you from a courier or a salesperson.
And you guys do this all in-house, this marketing?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And we do have some partners like Kodak and people like that supply machinery and supply software, Xerox, we're using their software and we can collaborate with. But that's something we're doing now and then we can show salesman by salesman all the leads that come back, all the answers that come back, so all the different 20 salespeople.
And those are divvied out across based on geographic or whatever.
Well, the account lists are already built into the mailing list, so I know which salesman has that account. So when that person fills out the responses, those emails go right back to them and say, hey, this person is interested in these things. And you can track it over time, which ones responded to the direct mail piece that got to them in the mail, which ones responded in week 2 when they got the email blast, or in week 3 we send them a newsletter specific to that subject that we're talking about.
So what I think is really interesting is, I mean, I've had people come in and try to engage, and I have engaged in this type of marketing. But what's interesting is this is what you're doing for yourself, right, as far as marketing, which I think is really, really interesting, because a lot of times I just feel it's like, do as I say, don't do as I do. Like, right, here's a really good idea for you. I don't do it, but you should do it. Right. But this is one of your main ways of,
and that's a good point, because it's new technology,
getting new leads. In essence, you're generating your own leads,
and we can show customers us as a case study. Look, we got a 15 or 20% response rate by doing the cross media.
That was my next question.
Where you might have only had a 2% or 3% response rate if you didn't do it with the cross media follow up. So
my next question was, what kind of response rate do you get on this type of stuff?
And we're new at it, but we're getting 15 to 20%.
That's unbelievable.
With the multiple contacts.
With the multiple hits.
What's nice about that is that it continues to generate new business with your customers as they learn about other options that they have in using Knepper Press to take advantage of what they have, your digital printing.
It's hard for a salesperson oftentimes to break through and get a customer to respond just from an email or a cold call on the phone. There's so many defenses up there where it's voicemail. They just erase your email. So it's nice to be able to support the sales staff with good marketing that gets the people interested in connecting with us and understand some of the things we're doing. And so we do a lot with environmental stuff. I think that sets us apart. We use 100% wind power. We're ranked number 1 in Pennsylvania for use of alternative energy. Those type of things we can use anytime anybody prints with us. They can have printed with 100% wind power. So for a segment of the buyers in colleges and universities, that's a very meaningful thing to do. So things like that we're doing, and try to get the word out with PR releases, posters of the city of Pittsburgh that we'll put out. Just the people put up in their offices saying Knepper Press prints Pittsburgh, and it's a lovely poster. So lots of different things we're doing on an ongoing basis.
How has the business changed with, because in some ways, as I sit and listen to you, in some ways, technology and advancements have hurt you, but in some ways, you've embraced that and actually have utilized it. So, what are some of the other things that you find yourself doing, just as a result of the times? Because I think that's important for people out there to hear is, once again, you're either growing or dying. People are in, the printing industry is, for the most part, is either level to down. It certainly hasn't gone up yet. Here you are, you've, increased the size of your business tenfold, and as far as people, and increased your revenue 16-fold over the last 20 years. I mean, that's pretty remarkable. So what do you think are some of the, how have you done it? Is it through acquisitions? How have you kept up with the times?
My partner and I'd say one thing we've always had, a heavy investment in the latest technology. So we pretty much retain all our earnings, keep them in the business, and so we'll have the latest technology. We'll have very modern equipment, modern presses, so you'll be able to operate at the highest quality, the highest speeds, and be able to compete economically, provided you can sell enough to fill them up, because you still got to make the payments on those new pieces.
24/7, three shifts, right?
Yeah. So you've got to, but the investment in technology is important, not only in the equipment, but in the software and in the people training. So that's been something we've done consistently all along, is be a leader on the investment.
Well, one of the things that you mentioned when we were warming up, getting ready for the interview today, is that you have seen sort of the growth of that internet-based business where people want to just send away and what have you. And it sounds like you've also acquired some companies and acquired some technologies and also built some infrastructure into your business to be able to also service those people as well, correct?
Yes. I mean, you have to, go with the times, and so many of the things have been fantastic for the printing business in terms of the technology change. When I started, the amount of time and money it took to produce a wonderful 4-color magazine was much longer, much more expensive than it is today. You used to have a lot more manual processes where people would give you art boards, and you'd have to shoot them with a camera. You'd have to create film. You'd have to have manual labor piecing all this film together to make a proof, and then they make changes, and then you have to go back and cut that film all apart and make
now it's
new
a
film.
Computer, right?
Now, almost anybody in their home can take great pictures on their digital camera. Mm-hmm. They can create a magazine. They can create a publication. So we have a lot more people able to create on an economically viable way things to get printed. We don't have to spend a week getting that on press. We can do it in 24 hours. We can be on press with somebody's files, so you don't have all those thousands of dollars in upfront costs before it hits a press. So a lot of that technology has been positive for printing. Internet's, you've got to be able to out there have a good internet presence yourself and drive enough internet business.
And a good
yourself.
interface where it's easy for people to use it and actually develop something, right?
Right, and understand the new technologies of Google and things like that, so that you're not left behind. You got to be, coming up high on their searches.
Listen, when my dad is at 83 is Googling things, you better know Google. All right, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about sort of the learning curve, some of the teachable moments that you've had over your 20 years with Knepper Press. Check Knepper Press out. We'll be back with Ted Ford here, CEO of Knepper Press out of Carnegie, right?
No, we're right at the airport.
At the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you started in Carnegie, out at the airport. We'll be right back with Ted.